What's going on, my fellow Jedi and Padawans? Welcome back to another Jedi gaming video. Thank you guys so much for coming back to the channel. And if you guys are new, welcome. Y'all have been blowing up TikTok and YouTube lately. Absolutely appreciate that support. Blows me away. Speaking of TikTok, right here we have a Stareater scales build that I have just been holding out, not really posting it just because it doesn't seem to be that fun in my personal opinion, but others are reaming me for not throwing this on. Instead, I'm using Golden Gun with Celestial, which I find to be a very fun build, but this does have some max DPS potential, especially with Stareater scales being able to get that overcharge super with some healing. Very good exotic combination. So right here, going over our subclass ability aspects and fragments, we're going to be using Blade Barrage to pair with those Stareater scales for that extra bit of damage, and then just our super is going to be able to regen very fast with our exotic boot perks. Now for abilities, marksman dodge, so I can reload a little bit faster with my SMG, which we will be using to create orbs of power. Triple jump with proximity, explosive knights, and solar grenades, just the abilities that I have been using for this build. You can really throw on any knife or grenades you would like. Now for our aspects here, knock them down, so our Blade Barrage launches more projectiles, which allows us to do more damage. And then on our second one, we have Gunpowder Gamble, so we can get that nice explosive when we're getting those solar defeats with our weapons, debuffs, as well as our abilities. Now for our fragments here, we're going to be using rapidly defeating targets with those solar ignitions, allows us to generate more orbs of power. This is going to be essential for creating as many orbs of power as we can for our Stareater scales. For our second one right here, our ignitions are going to spread Scorch to the affected areas, which in turn will scorch more enemies, causing more ignitions, which will again create more orbs of power for us. And then finally, right here, we have Ember of Torches, so our powered melee attacks make us and our nearby allies radiant, allowing us to do a little bit more damage with that SMG, once again allowing us to proc more orbs of power on those multiple defeats based on mods we have on our armor. Now for our weapons here, I am personally going to go with the Deliverance with Demolitionist on it, just because I think this is a very good way to get our grenades back. And with those solar explosions and ignitions, then we are able to get more orbs of power to proc based on those grenades. We keep throwing them and more solar ignitions and explosions going on. Now, very essential to this build with Incandescent, we're using our Callus mini tool. One, because it is solar, and we're going to be using Harmonic Siphon to create orbs of power on solar weapon defeats. And then that Incandescent spreading Scorch, causing more ignitions, will in turn create more orbs of power for us, which will apply that nice extra little bit of oomph that we get on super energy from our Stareater scales. And then we're just going to run the Gallahorn with this just because. Easy reads for clearing out enemies, and that solar weapon potential of creating orbs of power via Harmonic Siphon on our helmet. Now for our armor pieces here, we're going to go with that Harmonic Siphon like I was talking about, allowing us to create orbs of power on rapid defeats with subclasses that match our energy and power weapons. So when we're using solar, both our solar weapons on rapid defeats will have that ability to create orbs of power. And then I'm going to be using Elemental Charge with picking up solar elemental wells. We're going to become charged with light as well. Now right here, we're going to use Impact Induction and Melee Well Maker. One, so we can get those solar elemental wells, and then Elemental Charge to proc and become charged with light. And then causing damage with our melee reduces our grenade cooldown, like I said, so we can throw our solar grenade, causing that solar scorch and ignitions, allowing us to create orbs of power, because that's what this build is all around, creating orbs of power for our boots here, which overcharge our super, allowing us to spam our Blade Barrage as much as we possibly can for that max DPS potential. Now right here on our chest piece, I'm going to go with Powerful Friends, Arc Resistant, and Fusion Scavenger. Powerful Friends, so I can get my mobility up to 100, as well as that Fusion Reserves for our Deliverance and that survivability of Arc Damage Resistant. Now for our boots right here, we have the Stareater scales. The Feast of Light is our armor perk, so you gain additional super energy when we pick up orbs of power. That is why it is so essential for Harmonic Siphon, as well as our Fragment, which helps us create a lot of orbs of power. When our super energy is full, picking up orbs of power overcharges your super, causing you to gain a burst of healing when you cast, and it creates bonus super damage at maximum overcharge. You get an overshield. So being able to overcharge our super to do bonus damage, that's why these boots are getting such a good rep this season with Blade Barrage, because of that damage potential compared to Celestial Nighthawk. It's not really too big of a difference, and I do really like that Nighthawk build a lot, but this is a very easy, more universal build for everybody in my personal opinion, instead of having to rely on precision damage. So this right here, very good for max damage and just spamming supers with that overflow on Feast of Light. Now for our mods on this, because we're becoming charged with light by picking up those solar elemental wells, while charged with light, we regain a portion of our grenade energy when using our grenade. So this right here is going to allow us to spam those solar grenades a little bit more, like I said, for solar ignitions, causing orbs of power to be dropped, letting us fuel our super with these exotic boots here. And then we're going to use absolution, so we get all of our ability cooldowns in our grenade, melee, and dodge when we pick up orbs of power, since this is a big orbs of power build. Last but not least, on our cloak right here, we have classy restoration. So every single time we dodge, we're able to get that restoration to proc, allowing us to stay alive better. And then we also reduce melee cooldown when using our class ability, allowing us to spam those proximity throwing knives a little bit more. And then on top of that, another way to create solar elemental wells by defeating enemies with our Blade Barrage and Elemental Light, allowing us to proc those solar elemental wells with super defeats. And like you can see, being able to just create orbs of power on orbs of power with these boots with that incandescent mini tool is on fire. And then you create them a lot of different ways in our solar ignitions that we're getting from Scorch from the incandescent, as well as from our grenades and melees. And then we have Harmonic Siphon, so Callus mini tool is giving it to us, as well as Galahorn, since they are both solar weapons and we're using a solar subclass. So this build right here is very easy to get orbs of power to proc. And then we have 100 mobility to be able to dodge, 90 resilience to stay alive, and then 100 intellect as well. So it just allows us to spam Blade Barrage, do crazy ad clear with this super, as well as that max damage as well. So everybody needs to go out and give this build a try. Definitely a banger if you're looking for something else that's easier to use than getting that precision damage with Celestial. This is way more versatile and has more applications of it, like I said, in ad clear or DPS, and being able to overcharge our super with the aspect and our boost that we have on, allowing us to throw the more blades and then overcharge it. Its DPS is through the roof, so it's a very good game build for that PvE realm. So thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully y'all like this Stareater scales build. Absolutely slapping, and I do love it a lot. So thank y'all again. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.